Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to Drinks and Daves.
Wow.
We got some really happy people tonight.
What happened? We were up to 5, and now we're down to 3.
Well, maybe some people had some gas, and they had to go relieve themselves.
They were like, let's get out of here.
So how are you, Dave?
Dude, it's cold out here. Hey, why do they there's lots of sayings for it's as cold as
witch's.
What I was going to ask you, why is a witch cold there?
Witch's boob? Well, that's something we'll need to have our reason. We'll have to have our research team say, why is it as cold as a witch's tit? So
hey, Rich, good to see you, buddy.
Speaking of Rich, I need to tell a quick story. Hello, Stephen, Dad, how are you? Rich posted today, or actually he posted a short video today about a brand new Burger King Whopper, and it's called the Candied Bacon Whopper. So basically the Whopper has, it's a standard Whopper with no cheese, which is communist, so I added cheese. You have to have cheese. Anyway, so it's got a candied bacon jam, a little bit of bacon, a garlic aioli spread, lettuce, onions, tomatoes, and crispy onions, all in the Whopper. So Rich posted, it was a silent video until the very end, and then the goat screamed, screaming goat, and apparently he didn't like it. So of course, wanting to do research, I went up and got one, and although because the restaurant that he was at, I guess, they really didn't care how they put the stuff on. In other words, there was no symmetry in how they put it on the burger. I was lucky there was symmetry, but would I ever buy the burger again? No.
It sounded so good.
It sounds good, and it's got good flavor, but the problem is the way they make the bacon jam, it's way too sweet.
Oh.
It's way too sweet. Now the garlic aioli spread is nice with the lettuce and tomatoes, but I thought the cheese would mellow out the bacon jam. Just too sweet. So I don't think that's going to be.
It's like jam, huh? Full of sugar.
Yeah, and see, to me, bacon jam should be savory.
Yeah,
it should be crispy, but it should be savory. And I think what they're trying to do with the crispy onions is kind of tone that down. No, it's too sweet. It's
well, when you said candied bacon, have you ever had candied bacon? I assume
yes. And it's different. It's salty, and it's got just a tad bit. And I think it's because they probably use a brown sugar, and not. But this one is just. You could eat this on toast and think it was just marmalade.
Yeah. Well, because I know we had candied bacon at some restaurant once. Where they cook it with brown sugar on top, and it's got that crunch. I tried it at home once, and it just ended up like a burnt mess on top of my bacon. And
what's good though? If you bake your bacon instead of fry it, you bake it, and then you take some almond bark, the chocolate melty stuff, melt the chocolate, which is not too sweet, dip the bacon in and then let that cool, and then you have chocolate bacon. That's actually delicious.
I believe you. It's not much of a breakfast food.
No. But again,
but baking bacon is the only way to do it now, right? Do you bake bacon?
Yes.
Instead of fry it?
Well, actually, we started doing the air fryer, and the air fryer does it real well.
But does it make a mess?
No, not at all.
Interesting. Yeah, because once you do it in the oven and you don't have splatter all over your stovetop, you're like, well, I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah, it's. But the only problem with doing it that way is if you're cooking something with bacon grease, because we do this thing sometimes where the entire breakfast is cooked in one cast iron skillet, the whole thing. So you fry the bacon, then you throw the eggs in, then you throw the potatoes in, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard of Bob. It's not it's a chain. It's not out here, Bob Evans.
Right.
Like Cracker Barrel, we don't have that out here. What are you laughing? I mean, that's still a thing, right?
It's coming.
Well,
And the funny thing is tonight's topic is not even food. Hello, Spider. How are you?
We work our way around. Why did we mention Spider earlier? I don't remember.
Well, there was a really cool watch that I saw being constructed that was a Spider-Man watch. It was a skeletonized tourbillon. It was only like $163,000.
What are you smoking, Dave?
I am smoking today an Oliva Black Swan.
What? We didn't even plan that. Me too, buddy.
Oh, they're wonderful.
Are these now? Now I know when these first came out, they were limited release and they got taken up. Are they? And then they came out again. Are they available all the time?
I think they're still only available through Cigar Page. I don't think you can get them anywhere else.
But you can still get. It wasn't like they're gone.
Right.
Oh. Here you go.
And of course, P Beat is bougie as ever. Alan W. I'm drinking coffee.
That's cute. Yeah.
In our mug.
That is our first logo attempt, which
was our first logo,
actually really cool. But we realized it was
too busy. But the hands are still in our logo. If you look at the top, they're still
just too detailed for shirts and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We got the collector's edition first release logo.
Exactly. What are you drinking tonight?
I'm drinking Lafroig Cargis from what is it, like 4 years ago? The port and wine cask finish.
Yeah. Well, so you haven't cracked open that really exclusive one that you
did yesterday, and it was weird. I haven't had. I'm not drinking Scotch every day anymore. Not quite sure why, but I didn't even look at the alcohol percentage on that thing. And I'll tell you, the first drink of it was thick, much thicker mouthfeel than normal Lafroig. So it's called Lafroig Elements 1.0. And the description is that the blenders or whatever were just given free reign to, I don't know what the hoo-ha story was. I mean, you would think that Lafroig 10 is their flagship, like this is what Lafroig is, but they were given free reign to whatever, remix the component. It was good. It was very sweet. Really? It didn't have any Band-Aids to it.
Wow.
But it had a thicker mouthfeel, and boy, you felt that firewater all the way down. Really? And I had to look, and it was like 56% or 58%, something like it was up there.
They probably replaced the Band-Aid with sheep that peed on the peat that had gastric
we can only hope. So, but I was going to say with P Beats is Macallan. One of the regrets I always had, because there's a balance, right, between, ooh, I really want that, and grabbing impulse versus I'm trying not to get so much. I'll wait. I'll get it later, and then it's gone. Right. So Costco had a Macallan Classic Cut, which my understanding is a same type of thing. It's a kind of a different blend from year to year, and they had it at Costco for the longest time.
Never got it,
and I never got it, and then finally, and I thought, well, Classic Cut, that's kind of sounds like a cheaper whatever, and then I finally read about it, and it had really good reviews. I'm like, next time I go, I'm going to get it, and then it was. Never been back.
Speaking of impulse buys, what is adorning your wrist tonight? I figured we do cigars, we do.
It's Omega Seamaster.
Omega.
Right.
You think you're.
I can't show you because
You think you're Daniel Craig or something?
That's right. The new watch of Bond, right? He's Omega.
Yes. I am wearing the Grand Seiko SBGA 427 Soco with the spring drive.
Beautiful.
It's a gorgeous watch.
Beautiful.
Before we get to the topic and the disclaimer that I must say, if you have not seen not Ghost Protocol, which was a good movie too, but if you have not seen Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible, you have to see this movie.
You got me curious. I've only seen the very first Mission Impossible.
With Tom Cruise?
Yeah.
Oh, you have to see them all. They're all good. But this one, if you ever watched the original series, that had Peter, they had Mr. Phelps and Peter Graves, and it had Leonard Nimoy. it really gives homage to that. In other words, it follows that kind of protocol. And no, Peter Graves is not in it because remember he got ousted. But the tech that was in all the Mission Impossibles is just on display here, and it's just I think it's the best one that they've done so far.
All right,
it's
because so
awesome.
I think I have to take that back. I saw the first one, I liked it, and then I saw at least one or two more, and it kind of to me went downhill, so I stopped watching. I'll watch this one.
These are really good, and I think what it is there was a time when Tom Cruise in one of the Mission Impossibles kind of let his hair grow long and said, no, this he's back to. In fact, I was telling my wife about this, is that the role that he plays, even though he's Ethan Hunt in charge of the IMF, he kind of plays the Leonard Nimoy character, if you remember, because Leonard Nimoy was always the one that was doing the different masks and stuff like that.
Oh,
and it's really, really good. And it's so funny because my wife was at her sister's and I watched the movie, and then she came back and I said, you got to watch this movie. In fact, I'll watch it again. So we rewound it all the way to the beginning and started, and they'd start talking about the IMF, and she goes, oh, the International Monetary Fund. And I just started laughing because one of the first scenes in the movie,
wow.
they're because the IMF nobody knows about except the CIA. And so he says IMF, and the director of intelligence goes, you mean the International Money Fund? And it's Impossible Mission Force.
Oh, that's a silly name.
Oh no, Impossible Mission Force? That's perfect.
Well, anything with force in it.
That's like, if somebody asks you, what's the word of the day?
Space Force.
Thunderbird.
Oh.
You got to use the word Thunder. Well, you're probably too young.
I'm too young. So. For my time.
Yeah. So, okay. So, do you think AI will ever bring back iconic actors? It's already happened. It happened with Peter Cushing in Star Wars. It happened with Princess Leia in Star Wars. They've already done it. And I think you're going to see remakes with AI, which...
What do you think about that? Yeah.
I don't like it.
Well, because what was Grammys were last weekend.
Mm-hmm. We watched.
And they had duets with voices of people that have passed. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking the same thing, that, I get that they're trying to honor the person, but that person had no choice in doing this, and it's not them. And I like honoring and singing their songs. I don't know about bringing back their image and having their voice intermingled. And
well, remember that earlier this year, the Beatles released a new song, a song that had never, ever been released before, but it had everybody playing it, and that was all done through AI. And then the only one that I saw that I really liked was there was a duet that was sung by Nat King Cole and his daughter. And I can't remember if it was the Christmas song, but it was really good. And they,
right.
Exactly. And they did it with Harrison Ford. They de-aged.
And that was a little right, father-son or father-daughter. I get that.
Yeah. So
and
it's a little bit different.
Here you go. The official opinion of Drinks and Days, Space Force. When Space Force first came out, I thought it was a joke. I thought that there's no way that this is what it was really called.
Well, the thing is, the problem is they couldn't call it the United Federation of Planets because we'd be the only one in it. Shit. But if you look at the logo is from Star Trek. I don't care what anybody says.
What could we call it instead of Space Force? Because you do have Air Force, so I get the whole. And Air Force doesn't sound dumb, but maybe because it's been around for so long.
Well, United States Air Force, and it's actually United States Space Force, USSF. But I don't know. Because we really, other than sending rockets up, I mean, that's all we've done so far. It's not like we're, in a shooting war yet.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yet. So we have a very interesting topic tonight. But before we do that, I have to make a disclaimer. The Drinks and Dave show are not licensed therapists. So anything you hear here is just because these guys smoke cigars and know things.
Wait a minute.
Right. Starfleet. Yeah, Starfleet would work.
There you go. We got 2 votes. Let's write somebody. We'll do
Starfleet would work.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. What was the name of the Space Force in the Alien series? Oh, that was it was a corporation, but there was the Colonial Marines. That's what it was.
Really?
Colonial Space Marines.
Oh, geez. Well, that's not. Yeah, why shouldn't it be an offshoot of the Marines or another, just a branch?
Well, originally it was. It was an offshoot. No, it was an offshoot of the Air
Junior.
Force. It was an offshoot of the Air Force.
Well, that would make more sense. Air Force Space Division or something like that.
Yeah.
Extraterrestrial. Mm,
Mhm.
all right.
The Kilrathi factor. Okay, I got to explain this, and it's Kilrathi, my friend Tig. There was a movie. Well, it started out as a video game, and the Kilrathi were a bunch of sentient, smart cats, but they were big cats, big cats, and we were in a war with them.
How bored were you to watch something that description?
It was actually a good movie. It was a game that turned into a movie. It was along the same lines as Starship Troopers, which I thought is just an awesome movie. It's a cult movie.
All right. Well, you're into sci-fi, right?
Very
So
much
anything, even if it's out there, like in terms of logistics or whatever, you don't
Mhm.
care. It's just
Right.
suspend all disbelief. Right. All right. So let me say that, as with almost all of our episodes, we go into it with a loose idea and we don't have any clue. We go, well, this could be all right, or this could be really bad. And if it's really bad, we just start talking about food.
Right. So, but remember how you explained it to me.
Right.
That you're going to take, and I hope you did your research because I did not, is you are going to read a question.
Yeah.
And what I would say, and this is my opinion, what we should do is read the question that was to Dear Abby.
Yep.
Then we give our opinions independently and then read what Dear Abby said and see how close we are.
Well, that's what I was going to do. And I think we still should. But Dear Abby's responses, as I was reading through them, and maybe it's just because I'm at genius level, but a lot of my opinions are exactly what she said. And I was like, well, these are kind of all no-brainers. So maybe it's different if you're in the situation. But then when you put live advice episode, I thought, well, of course, we got the barflies. They ought to throw up any questions that they want our advice on.
And that's what I'm saying. I think we do one from Dear Abby, then we take one from the barflies, and then we take one from Dear Abby, and let's see if that synergistic thing comes together. So whenever you're ready, shoot.
All right. Here's the first one. I've been going steady with this man for 6 years. We see each other every night. He says he loves me, and I know I love him, but he never mentions marriage. Do you think he's going out with me just for what he can get?
And what was her name?
Gertie.
First off, if you have a lot of money, that may be a factor. If you don't have a lot of money, maybe he is just not ready for marriage yet. So I would suggest that you go buy a watch.
Well, buy him a watch.
Yes, buy him a watch.
Buy him a watch. That was a cop out.
Seriously, I think that she might, in the way you read the question, she might be looking for marriage a little too quickly, and she's
6 years.
Guessing. Hell, my wife and I went out for almost 10.
Yeah. You had to.
But we were married. But we were married before each. So, no, I think that she wants to commit. She wants that next step. Maybe he's afraid, and I think what Gertie should do is flat out question him on it. Say, hey, are we going anywhere else with this? And when?
There you go.
Just right forward. Your opinion?
That would be my thing. Is like ask him. Right. That's a no-brainer. But I would say also, to your point, we don't have enough information, which is true of all these letters. All you have to go on in is stuff. I would say 6 years, unless they're in school or have, some other mitigating factor where they're, Well,
we also don't know how old they are either.
Oh, right. That's what I'm assuming they're not still in high school. If they're still in college, whatever. But 6 years, Tig's here. You ought to at least be able to talk about this, right?
Well, and on a side note, Gertie, I think when you get a chance, take a little trip to go see your parents. take a bat with you and ask them point blank, why in the hell did you name me Gertie?
Yeah, I don't know, PB. I just Googled a list of Dear Abby questions, and
Well, yeah, that's
so
true. It could be.
all right. So remember, her question was, do you think he's going out with me just for what he can get? Dear Abby's answer was, Dear Gertie, I don't know. What is he getting?
That was her whole answer.
That was her answer.
And
Right,
she gets paid. Well, she did get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We need to ask for a raise.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's take one from the barflies.
Well,
any subject, somebody from the barfly put up a question that we can give you advice on.
yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna. Yeah, they need to do that. But if we sit here,
okay, let's hit the second one.
Right, here's a racy one. Ready?
Okay.
My wife sleeps in the raw. When she showers, brushes her teeth, and fixes our breakfast, still in the buff. We're newlyweds, and there are just two of us, so I suppose there's really nothing wrong with it. What do you think?
I don't see any problem at all. None. Zero. Why are you even asking? Why are you dumb enough to ask this question? There's no problem.
Why are you dumb enough to ask this question?
I mean, seriously, if she sleeps in the nude, gets up, takes a shower, gets all fresh, and then goes out, I mean, there is nothing sexier than a naked woman fixing you breakfast. Really? How many people have had that happen? Zero.
Right. So can I say Major Rich, I think, saw through this question?
Yes.
Because the answer is, it's okay with me, but tell her to put an apron on when she's frying bacon. He's asking, wow. This could be it. This guy could be bragging. He's like, hey, my wife, yeah. All right, we're not getting any questions from the bar. I'm surprised. We are at their disposal for our combined years of wisdom,
and nobody wants our advice.
And there's nobody. All right.
Well, maybe they're thinking, they're percolating on this, because the thing is, I've noticed that PB has not posted anything in a few minutes, which means I think he's deep in thought.
There
it is. What did I tell you?
Oh wait, no, it's not a question. Oh wait. All right, let's read it, whatever. My girlfriend showers in our upstairs bathroom with the window open so the 45-year-old widower next door can see her naked while in his bed. Well,
marry her.
That's fine. More power.
Marry her. Because that shows that she can be an exhibitionist. And that is not necessarily a bad thing. No, that means that she's a pleasing person. So she's looking across the way and she's seeing this poor 45-year-old widower. She's giving. So he's missing his wife, and she's giving him a view into his past life.
That's sweet, Dave.
She's an empath. She's an empath.
That's nice. All right, dear Abby, I know boys will be boys, but my boy is 73 and he's still chasing women. Any suggestions?
More power to you, bub. Well, if you're 73 years old and you're still chasing women, now again, we don't have enough information. Is he married? Is he single? If he's single and he's still chasing women around at 73, dude, go ahead.
Right. Well, I assume they're talking about Rich.
Rich is chasing the Almighty to try to find the world's best burger.
Well, right. But my boy, and boy is in quotes. So I'd have to assume that it's her. I mean, but that's a weird question, right? If it's your
because if he's 73, that means that she's in her 90s. If she had her boy very young.
Right.
In her 20s.
So I was assuming it was a better half or worser half, in which case it's highly inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But then again, if he's 73 and they've been married 60 years, it's like, why did you wait so long to kick him to the curb? And you really can't kick him to the curb. You can just push him over, I guess.
I suppose.
What was her answer?
Her answer is, don't worry. My dog has been chasing cars for years, but if he ever caught one, he wouldn't know what to do with it.
And she gets paid for this. Because I think chasing a car and chasing a woman, I would think it's
his point was is that all he does is chase it, and if he ever actually got a woman, he wouldn't know what to.
Okay, so with that being the case, I would agree with your first assessment that he might be married.
Right. Well, I don't know. All she has to go off on is all right. We're going through these quick, so if we don't have, we're going to have to.
I'm trying to
spend a lot of time talking about food.
Why aren't our people? They don't want our advice. I'm hurt.
Well, we have a smart crowd, is what that's.
That's true. That's a good point.
Right.
Suck
Dave, dear Abby, I'm 19 years old and not very experienced, but my mother told me to be careful with men with mustaches. Is there any truth in this?
My answer is not appropriate for a public forum.
All right. Well, pick a different answer.
I would say, look at your mom and say, Mom, you watched too much porn in the 70s. There's nothing wrong with mustaches. There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, it could be argued. Oh, wait, I'm going to try to navigate this. It could be argued that women enjoy men who have mustaches. That's about all I can say.
You know what? I hadn't thought about this, but I think there's a lot of men that look good with beards. There's very few men that look good with just a mustache. And
Amber just goes right where I was going.
Well, that's all right. She doesn't have.
Well, there's an initial for it. It's called WB. That's all I can say. And I'll let you guys figure it out. Well, yeah. I mean, you guys know that I used to have a handlebar mustache.
And you don't anymore because it looks silly.
No, I enjoyed it. It was nice until I got to a certain chronological age and the whiskers started turning transparent.
Okay, so I'm going to argue that a handlebar mustache or a styled mustache is different than just a straight on, just a mustache.
Right. But what you're saying is very true. There are certain people that look excellent with a mustache and certain people that don't. Now, a perfect example, and Tig Lily knows exactly where I'm going with this, is Sam Elliott. Sam Elliott has to have...
He's the exception.
He has to have a mustache because if you've ever seen him without a mustache, he does not have an upper lip. It doesn't exist. Go and Google Sam Elliott without a mustache, and it will scare you.
So now that might be so you're saying, yeah, of course, some people look good without. Same with beard, same with anything else, right? But so the no upper lip thing might be the reason why you look better with a mustache. There's some guys that have a huge upper lip and grow a mustache and shave it halfway down their lip. That looks terrible every time. Right.
Well, that's like, remember,
I mean, you're a barber. This is a professional opinion.
Oh, yeah. Well, I do a lot of mustache shaping and stuff like that. And yeah, some of them, yeah, you just say, this might not look good. But then it's getting more to the point now where I'll have clients that will ask me saying, hey, if I do this, because most of them worked in corporate America. Now they're retired. They want to grow a beard. They want to grow a mustache. And they'll ask me what would look great. And I'll look at the shape of their face and say, well, give it a shot. You know, and because like with a beard, if they can get through the first 4 to 6 weeks, usually they'll keep going. It's that itchy, crazy part in the beginning. Because I tried a beard once and I couldn't get past it. So we have our first question. Well, go ahead, finish that one.
Not really. My answer to this person would be, is the vast majority of people that have mustaches should not. So that shows poor judgment. So I would agree with it. Okay. The answer is there any truth to this? Dear Anita, yes, and also be careful of men without them.
It's a cop-out. Okay, we need a real question. So here's a real question. Dear Abby, my fountain pen links. My wife and I hollers at me, my kids are all freaks. Every night I get up on the wrong side of the bed. If it weren't so expensive, I'd wish we're dead. I like that. That's a good one. And especially the last part. Have you priced beds? They're
ridiculous. Beds? Yes,
I've
complained about this.
You can spend $20,000 on a bed, and here's the problem. It may not be the right one for you. In fact, we're in this dilemma right now. We're trying to decide what to do, and because it'll probably be the last one we buy. But dear Lord, I
Yeah.
mean, it's crazy.
Well, and what's crazy is there's so many mattresses now you can buy that have no store outlets to try them out. Well, I mean, I don't get how people do that. You're just you're rolling the dice.
Yeah, I mean, well, the thing is, we were looking at the purple, but we didn't like it because you couldn't go test it out. But now the stores are carrying purple. Then there's the Nectar, and then there's the Sleep Number, and then there's the new Tempur-Pedic. Because the old Tempur-Pedic you got into, and it was like a sauna. And then you have the adjustable beds, and it's like, dear Lord. I have a client that just bought a new bed. He is claiming it's the best thing. So $22,000.
Yeah, for springs and foam and cloth.
And yet they complain when we spend what we spend on watches. Please.
Well, no, but I complain about a $20,000 mattress too.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Okay, next.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to appear conceited here, but I'm forced to admit that I'm one guy who has everything. Women are always flocking around me and telling me how good looking I am and what a marvelous personality I have. I'm beginning to find this pretty annoying and extremely tiring. I just want to live a normal, quiet life. How can I dissuade these hopeful females?
You know, Dave, I told you not to.
Well, I wanted to put my own question in there.
No, I know that, but I told you that in confidence.
It came from Rich.
To me, well, read that. Wait a minute. He said, read that again. Read it again.
The whole thing?
Yeah, read the whole thing.
All right. I don't want to appear conceited, but I'm forced to admit I'm one guy who has everything. Women are always flocking around me and telling me how good looking I am and what a marvelous personality I have. I'm beginning to find this pretty annoying and extremely tiring. I just want to live a normal, quiet life. How can I dissuade these hopeful females?
Well, I think there's one larger thing, and it's two words. Small penis.
That doesn't answer his question.
Well, he's compensating because I don't care. No, I don't buy it. I think I call bollocks on that. I thought it was KJ. Amber, just FYI, I will set an optometry appointment for you.
Oh wow!
I love you, Spider.
These views do only represent half of Drinks and Daves.
Hey, you know what? This was your topic. Okay, no, seriously. If a guy has that problem, I wouldn't know how to. I don't even know how to respond to that because that sounds like every man's dream.
I was gonna say, could you? Because there were those people in school or wherever where it's like they've got the looks, they get straight A's, they've got a great job, they drive a nice car, and are they really? I mean. So just for argument's sake, say that everywhere you go, like you're like a movie star or whatever, right? You're kind of garnering this attention that you would just rather not have on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm. Well, there was a singer, Tig Lily. You'll have to help me out here. She was kind of an ethereal singer.
I thought you were going to say John Denver.
No, an ethereal singer, and they interviewed her, and she was gorgeous. I mean, absolutely stunning. And people were afraid to ask her out.
Yeah.
Because they thought that they would, number one, they would be turned down. And she told everybody that she was one of the loneliest people in the world because of what was created, this persona that was created. And
No.
I got one word, folks. Communication.
Aren't they sitting next to each other?
Well, it's just that they're sitting next to each other. At least I think they are. That was hilarious. No, I seriously, I don't know how to respond to that other than saying maybe, and I think Tig Lily brought on that, maybe it's him. In other words, is he flashing his money? Is he flashing his cars? Is he flashing this? I mean, because if you're good looking, you're good looking, but I mean, is he a beetle? Is he a monkey? Is he, I mean, I don't know. What was her answer?
keep talking. Right? He's so conceited. If he just keeps talking about himself in this manner, then he's going to turn off the women.
Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say grow a mustache. That would turn him off.
So, see, once again, PB is the encyclopedia of the Drinks and Dave show. So we are taking advice from Sioux City native Pauline Phillips, whose pen name was Abigail Van Buren. But she also had a sister, and I can't remember her name.
Oh, yeah?
It was Dear Abby and Dear somebody else. They both did the same thing.
Hey, so I put my name is Dave Donahue. Did you ever watch Donahue, the Donahue show?
I love the Donahue show.
Yeah, that guy was amazing. I don't know why he stopped. He's still alive. I found that out.
He was married to Marlo Thomas. He was married to Marlo Thomas. You know, Danny Thomas. You know, she was that girl.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know. I just thought.
Yeah, but what happened to?
I don't know. Maybe he retired. He's old. He's probably in it. Thank you, Stephen. Ann Landers. That was it.
Oh, that was her sister?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and they just both got paid for doing this kind of crap.
Yeah.
How do you get this job? I mean, how do you? I mean, so I know some of the. I mean, these are flippant answers, right? This was kind of her funnier responses and stuff like that. But even the more serious responses are not that deep. You only have so much information to go on, right? We could make this shit up.
Well, I mean, to me, and I'm going to get somebody very, 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 very mad. Yeah, I think they are still married. I think they are. And I don't know what Marlo Thomas, I know she's up there in age, but I was watching the commercial for the hospital that her dad started. And I think that Marlo Thomas has the same plastic surgeon that Michael Jackson had for his nose. Their noses are exact. I mean, they are exact. So anyhow, another piece of useless information. But, well, to me, I'm going to get somebody mad at me for this. But I believe that certain psychics do the same thing. So you go to a live psychic show and they say, I'm getting a feeling about, is there a John in the audience? Well, all they are is they're mathematicians. They're saying, okay, if there's 400 people here, what's the percentage is going to be John? So if I tie in on this one, and then now some of them I think are pretty close, but I think it's the same type of thing. They've created a niche and they got it.
Yeah.
Well, I thought they'd been married longer than 44 years.
Yeah, because he's like
88.
I think he's 90. Oh, 88. Well, there we go. All right. The crack research team here at the
We have got a crack research team here at Drinks and Days. Okay, what's next?
Boy, I'm surprised that P Beat actually hasn't thrown out any words that we can't pronounce yet. I mean, normally that's his thing, is like deep into the weeds. I want to wait, since this is not going to take the whole show. You brought up Michael Jackson.
Yes.
So I want to tell you, we watched a show last night that I would recommend to anybody. I believe it was on Netflix, and it was a documentary about the making of the song "We Are the World" back in the day. And, you know, I was kind of like not thinking it would be so amazing, but they had all sorts of behind the scenes footage and talking about, you know, making the song and getting all the stars there in one day. And then half of the documentary was about that one night where you had all these stars in the room without, you know, their entourage and all this stuff, and hanging out and cracking jokes and getting it. It was very cool to watch. I would highly recommend.
Well, and see, you know, it seems like Michael Jackson after his death was more polarizing than before his death, because I don't think there's a human alive that can deny the fact that he was one of the most incredible talents that has ever walked this planet. And what's so cool about it is he gives his entire, he was in an interview one time, and he gives his entire process of his dancing to James Brown, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, well, and he helped write the show and helped decide who was going to sing which parts. And so watching it, that's one thing that I thought is it's just too bad that probably fame took over his life, you know, and because.
Well, and I think, you know, it's funny when you listen to some of the interviews about Michael Jackson, is a lot of people say that he wanted to become kind of androgynous, you know, that he wasn't male, wasn't female, wasn't black, wasn't white. What most people don't realize, though, is the reason why his skin was so white is he had vitiligo. And he had gone down to the Dominican Republic and he got his skin bleached because he had vitiligo. And, you know, then the plastic surgery stuff, but that's a whole different thing.
Well, at one point, everybody was more famous than Michael Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Kenny Rogers was there. Well, wait, Michael Jackson was super young when it was the Jackson 5, and he was kind of the headliner of that whole thing too, right?
Yeah. Well,
All right.
okay, next.
My problem is my husband, Dave. He wears false teeth, uppers and lowers, and he thinks he's real funny to take them out at parties and do a Spanish dance using them as castanets. He thinks he's being the life of the party, but I'm embarrassed to death. Should I keep him away from these parties, or should I tell him he isn't funny?
You know what? If I think that's his way of coping with the fact that he probably feels insecure about the fact that he wears dentures.
Oh,
And
see, very insightful.
yeah, and so he takes his dentures out and he clacks them around. The bigger question is, how do the rest of the people feel? If they're laughing and
Oh,
having a good time, then so
see?
what? Or is it about you? Because really, it's not about you. Meaning that, are you embarrassed because your husband's teeth are out and he's clacking them around like castanets? So is that your problem or his problem? I would have to kind of lean, depending on what the answers to those other preliminary questions were, is it sounds like it's your problem.
How do we start an advice column? I mean, there's not really many papers. People don't
We
read
just
the
did.
papers.
We just did.
Oh, this is it?
We just did.
No, we need to get people to, because yeah,
So
I think that's the perfect answer. Is it depends. What does everybody else? If they're all staring at him, then yeah, it's like read the room.
well, and that's just it. I would think that if he took his teeth out and he started clacking them around. Now, the other thing, if you want to get deeper into it, when he does take his teeth out and he starts clacking them around, has he brushed them? You know, is there?
Oh yeah, you don't want any broccoli in there.
Yeah, you don't want nachos going everywhere. You know,
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, what does she say? What does
She says, "Let him have a good time." I think it's hysterical. Yeah.
What here's a counterpoint. What if she took out her castanets, aka clackers or palilos? What that reminds me is, you remember as a kid, remember those two, there was a string and a ring, and these two death marbles. They were about this big around, and they were clackers. And if you did that wrong, you could take out, I mean, concussion time. So I think what he's assumed, I'm not even going to go there.
I see.
Michael, we cannot bring that question up. Sorry.
Sweet jeez. Sweet jeez.
Okay. What was her? Oh, okay. She said have fun.
Right.
All right. Next.
Hysterical. Right. I'm 44 years old and would like to meet a man my age with no bad habits.
Well, my advice would be Elon Musk will be taking reservations for Mars. I don't think you're not gonna find that. I mean, each person. I mean, to me, again, it's more about her problem, because every man or woman, you could do this conversely, has bad habits. And you have to kind of accept the person for what they are. Do you want to try to change them? No, because then they're going to resent you for it. So, it depends on what the habit is. Again, we need more information. If he walks into public and sticks his finger up his nose and brings out, and he's mining for nuggets, and then in the next same step he digs somewhere else. Yeah, I mean that's something you say something to. But what does she consider?
In the Publix, you don't do that. In Walmart, that's okay. You got to know where. Socially acceptable. Yeah, her answer is so would I.
So I've been pondering the question that you said about how do we start a column. Well, we need to become a columnist. So we need to find our local newspapers and say, listen, we want to write an advice column. And after the fifth or sixth denial, and we keep calling the same newspaper over and over again, they may finally say, okay, great, we'll give you Sunday and we'll give you 3 columns. And then that's how it starts.
Is that how you just hound them and then they let you write for the newspaper? Is that how that works?
Well, the problem is I don't know about you, but we used to have 2 newspapers in Tucson. We now have one, and it's barely anybody subscribes to him anymore.
Yeah. All right, Dave, do you think a mother should take her 14-year-old son to get a tattoo, or do you think he's old enough to go along? Please answer before Saturday. This is important.
I can only answer for what they do in the state of Arizona. Is if you are under the age of 18, a parent must be there and must sign off on it.
Right. Okay. So, but obviously, at whatever point in time this was written or wherever it is, he must be allowed to go on his own. But at 14, do you think you would you let your offspring go get a tattoo?
No, I would go with him. I mean, because I have no problem with tattoos, but I would go with him. I want to see what it is he wants. But beforehand, I would sit him down and say, okay, if you decide to do this, it's permanent. Yeah, you can have it taken off, but the scar that you're going to have by taking it off is worse.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have any problem with it.
Oh, yeah. So first, and according to our column, it's what's the newspaper, and then as if we don't have other things. But you see here how much time. I mean, these answers are coming like this. We could be across the nation writing advice columns.
I love that. I want that on a shirt. The Drinks and Daves, as if you guys don't have enough other things to do.
Or I wish you weren't doing.
And here's the moniker. I think the Drinks and Daves moniker might give the idea that a little advice will be a little intoxicated. There you go. There you go. Okay, what's next?
That's right. Wait.
Oh.
Don't you want the answer? Do you not? You don't even care what she says anymore.
No, I know it's going to be vanilla. So
she says the answer is if the boy is old enough to get a tattoo, he's old enough to go alone. In this case, he is neither.
See, now that's kind of...
Here we go. Let's hear it, buddy.
See, to me, what that tells me is Abigail did not like tattoos.
Whoa.
She did not.
What age were you when you got your first tattoo?
17.
Okay.
I was in the military, and it was,
Right. So you probably don't remember what you were into at 14. But whatever you were into at 14, if you got that tattoo, you were not.
Yeah, it was.
You're so full of...
No, because what got me hooked is my dad had a Bolivar Accutron with a tuning fork, and I remember he'd come up to me at night and he'd say, well, I'm going to say this publicly, and I'm never going to hear the end of it, but the nickname my dad had for me was Lump. So there you go. There's a free shot for everybody. Lump. L-U-M-P.
Oh, that's much better. Thank you. Yes.
Exactly. Well, I'm a giving man, so I figured I'd tell everybody. No, but he'd come up and he'd say, listen to this watch. And it would have that tuning fork hum. And then I would take it from him at night, and I would stare at it in bed with the loom. And, that's when I first got into watches. Seriously, that's what got me into it. And then, like an idiot, after my dad died, I thought I was doing the right thing and gave that watch to my dad's brother. And I've been trying to figure out for 20 years how to go up to my uncle and say, Uncle Ron, can I have my dad's watch back?
He would understand.
Oh, I know, but it's having the guts to go ask him.
I think here's the comment of the night, though. As long as the tattoo isn't of a man using his teeth as castanets.
That's good.
Well, so this is my whole thing, though, is that obviously you and I both have tattoos. You have many more than I do. So neither one of us is against them. What I am is that your brain is not fully formed until your mid-20s. And I'm not saying wait till you're 20 or something, but whatever most people are into when they're 14, they're not going to want on their bodies when they're 50, but they won't believe that. They'll like, no, I'm always going to like this band, or I'm always going to be into this. Right. And it'll just be stupid.
So that's why I think it's important that he shouldn't go by himself. I think, and there should be some parenting in the front end. But that goes along to the same thing now. Times have changed. And so when this was written, who knows? But like, for instance, cell phones. Can you imagine when you were a kid going to your dad and saying, Dad, I want a cell phone? My dad would have looked at me and says, who the hell do you think you are, the president? But nowadays, because of the world we live in, cell phones have become a safety device. So,
I hear you. I have to tell this story because neither one of them will watch this show. So, our oldest always teased about I want a tattoo, and she's like the wussiest about pain, right? To cry about flu shots and all this stuff. And first of all, it was like, well, not until you're 18 or out of the house, whatever, you're not doing it. But it was also be like, there's no way you could handle the pain of one, right? You wouldn't tolerate it. So then one time she's at home and has this tattoo on her back and said, oh no, we just got, this design as a fake tattoo. Like one of the, you can order them that last like 6 months or whatever. It's this thing. Long story short, turns out it's real that her and her friend went off and got tattoos together.
So she lied.
But so she like, well, and it's hard to tell when she's joking or telling the truth. And yeah, she was not being 100% honest at that time.
Right.
But they both went and got tattoos at the same time. Friend ends up deathly afraid of what her family will say and trying to hide her tattoo all the time. And it's on her back at a place. Apparently, when she wears swimsuits, she has to make sure it's covering just this right spot, all this stuff. Right. Ended up being so scared of telling her parents, she's now paying for laser treatments to get it removed so they never find out that she had one.
But then she's going to have to ask the scar. It's not like the scar doesn't go away. Wow. Yeah. And see, and that's just it. I mean, and the thing is, I think a lot of things with tattoos, like you said, when you're an adult, you get a tattoo because there's an emotional connection to that tattoo. And when there is that emotional connection to the tattoo, that's cool because that's something, it's a memory. You can look down at your arm and say, God, I remember when I got that, I was doing this. But tattoos can also go bad. Here's a perfect example. Me and a couple of guys that were part of
we don't want to see your butt cheek, Dave.
No. Well, that's part of the Air Force, but that's a different story. That's a whole different story. Because part of being in the division I was in, let's move on. Anyways, we were part of a motorcycle group, and we decided to stop at a tattoo place. And me and my tail gunner, we were talking about it, and we were pumping them. Yeah, we'll all get the same tattoo. Wouldn't that be cool? So two of the guys said, yeah, let's do it. And they went in, and the rest of us said, screw that. We're not going to get the tattoos. So the two guys that went in and got the tattoos assumed that we were in there getting the same tattoo. And they come out and they go, what'd you guys think? We didn't get the tattoo. So now for the rest of their lives, they both have the same frog tattoo on their back, and we didn't do it. So you can also be very evil with tattoos.
Yeah. I was actually so this is an interesting thing. So no, I agree with you. And so my rule personally with my tattoos are, when I was thinking about getting one, I was going to say it's like a major purchase, but that's not true anymore. We'll have major purchases we don't think about much. But you think about the design, and if 6 months down the road you're still thinking about it and still want it and all that stuff, then like, okay, it's time to do it.
My wife didn't get her first tattoo until she was in her late 40s. But it's of something that's got such an emotional connection to her that she's very proud of it. Yeah. But the other thing is, like I think Tiglo, they said tattoos are a tribal rite of passage. But in my opinion, if you're going to get a tribal tattoo and you want to feel what the Polynesians felt like, you've got to get the real tattoo, and that's the one with the sticks.
So here's the deal. I was going to say, so I wanted to talk about this a little bit. So I regretted not buying the McCown's whatever cut, right? Mm-hmm. We took our honeymoon to Tahiti, and one thing I thought would be cool is get a Tahitian tattoo in Tahiti. But we had one of those over the water bungalow type of things, and I love going in the water every single day. And the problem is, once you get a tattoo, you can't be doing that when it's fresh. And so I kind of thought, well, maybe the last day, and then it kind of slipped my mind. And so that's another regret I have, is I would have loved to get the traditional Tahitian tattoo in Tahiti. But these guys that got like they get the tribal things around their arm, or they get the barbed wire was super popular for. Trendy stuff is just the dumbest thing to get put on your body.
Right.
Because it's trend, right? It's going to go out of style, and people are going to, you got that in the 90s, huh?
Well, and there's another, I have a friend of mine who's a Christian friend of mine who is so against tattoos because he will bring up biblical, saying that, what you're doing is your body is your temple, and by getting a tattoo, that you're ruining that temple. My argument is I would venture to say that there was probably tattooing going on way back then too.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
100%.
So that, tattoos, it depends, those people that don't like tattoos and hate tattoos, hey, great. Those people that like them, but I don't know if you know this, but once you get one, you have a tendency to get more because you've been through it.
So this is interesting because I could argue both sides of this. Now, I know that skin, when you're older, it's tougher to tattoo because your skin is thin, right? And it doesn't, but you're already stretched out. So it would be better to get one at 75 than when you're 20 and what that looks like when you're 75.
Well, plus the ink technology is a lot different than it used to be. Inks are amazing now. They last. I mean, if you take a look at my wife's tattoo, it looks like the day she got it. Now, granted, it's on her upper arm and she's got sleeves most of the time, so she doesn't have a lot of the sun on it. But So what's next? We've covered this. So who's next on the hit parade?
Oh,
we're gonna go a little long tonight, I think. Oh, this must be a good one.
No, I'm trying to, because some of these are the dumb, and one is politically incorrect, so I don't want to. I mean, one's dumb, like our birth control pills deductible, only if they don't work.
Yeah. And this was from Dear Abby, and she made money.
Oh, okay. Here's a good one. About 4 months ago, the house across the street was sold to a father and son, or so we thought. We later learned it was an older man about 50 and a young fellow about 24. This was a respectable neighborhood before this odd couple moved in. They have all sorts of strange-looking company, men who look like women, women who look like men, blah, 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 blah. Yesterday, I even saw 2 nuns go in there. Abby, these weirdos are wrecking our property values. How can we improve the quality of this once respectful neighborhood?
Ooh, my advice to her would be mind your own damn business. It's property values now, and she doesn't know. I mean, are these same-sex people, or could he possibly be a movie producer? We don't know. I mean, and why I say that is the 2 nuns, or they're into some freaky stuff. But are they doing anything to hurt you? If they're just minding their own business and doing their own thing, then you know what? Leave them alone.
Right. Well, and the real answer is, how would anybody buying a house on that block know that 2 nuns went over there the day before, right?
Well, because she's Mrs. Kravitz.
She gonna tell them.
Yeah, she's Mrs. Kravitz. She's constantly looking out her window, checking out what people are doing.
Yeah.
Does the HOA have a chief Karen?
Here you go.
Exactly. It could be the Delta Tau Chi fraternity, right?
So her answer is how you can raise values of your neighborhood is, well, you could move.
Yep. That's a good one. You could move.
That was a good one. Is it possible for a man to be in love with 2 women at the same time?
Sure. Your mom and your wife.
That's a good. I read this. Again, it's on the internet, so who knows what's real. And so this guy says he's sitting next to this woman on the plane, and he, is texting on his phone and says, hey, getting on the plane now, be there soon, love you, blah, 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 blah. And then he switches over to a different text and says the same thing, getting on the plane, love you, call you when I get there. And she sees this, and then somehow he's on his Instagram or something like that, and she sees his Instagram name and then posts something about sitting next to this guy, tags his name, and saying he's obviously cheating on his wife, blah, 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 blah.
Wow.
So he posts saying something to the effect of, I feel really bad, but I'm going to have to let my daughter know when I land that I can't tell her I love her anymore after I tell my wife.
Boom. Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Yeah. So yeah, you could love your daughter, you could love your mom, and you could love your wife, or you know, let's say that somebody is widowed. Do you still love that person even though they're no longer with you? No. So yeah, of course you can.
So her answer was, is it possible for a man to love two women at the same time? Yes, and also hazardous.
So she took it as if they're having that. This is an interesting statement. Robert Wagner on Instagram expresses his love for both Jill St. John and Natalie Wood. Well, obviously Jill St. John, but that's a whole nother subject for a show, is Robert Wagner and Natalie Wood. Because you also have to bring in, what's his face? Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken?
Yeah.
That's an odd guy.
Well, yeah, but remember when Natalie Wood died, Robert Wagner and Christopher Walken and her were all in the same boat. And Christopher Walken, to this day, refuses to discuss anything about that whole case. He won't talk about it. So,
I tell you, boy, I don't know how all this all started, but these poor people that are actually named Karen now are just getting the short end of it.
But I will say that there are a few named Karen that are Karens.
Well,
you know,
there's a few people named everybody that's a Karen.
Well, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
But see, that's why it's always good to have a Jewish name.
Is it?
Yeah, well, think about it. If they look at you and say, "Oh, you're just being a David," okay, okay.
I don't know if I have any more that are.
Oh, come on! You got to.
Well, this one's done. Let's see. I've been going with a girl for 2 years and can't get her to say yes. What should I do?
Yes, as into marriage, as into something else.
That's the whole question. See, we are so good at this. Her answer was, "What was the question?"
Yeah. See.
All right.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
All right, we're done. We're done with Dear Abby.
Okay, so we need to finish up the show talking about food then.
Food. What are you eating for Super Bowl, buddy? Because that's a big topic. You are not gonna watch the Super because you don't care about the game.
No,
and the commercials suck now. We've all agreed on that. The commercials have gone downhill.
Although there's a new Clydesdale commercial, so that one I will watch.
Yes. I'm gonna
and Jeremy Renner is in one now too, and now obviously everybody knows that Jeremy Renner, went through that horrific snowplow accident, and he's in a commercial.
And for the trifecta, the halftime show has gotten not even enjoyable to watch anymore.
No, and I'm sorry, and this may not be politically correct, and if it is so, I'm sorry, but they're in the. I've got to go there, Dave. I'm sorry, it's driving me crazy. To me, the United States of America has one national anthem. Period. We don't need two national anthems sung at the Super Bowl. Sorry, I have a problem with it. But no, I wasn't going to watch it. But you coerced me to play bingo on the Cadre, and to play bingo on the Cadre, you have to watch the game.
You got to watch the Super
Bowl. To support Stephen and the rest of the Cadre, I will play and suffer through watching the game.
Right. So now you're suckered into watching the Super Bowl. Are you going to have?
Yeah, chicken wings. Probably chicken wings.
Now, what are you getting the frozen chicken wings? You ordering chicken wings?
No, I'll go up to the supermarket deli and probably get the chicken wings there, and then probably make some meatballs, some Italian meatballs or something like that.
They have to be able to be saddle trained, right? I mean, they're very behaved when they're pulling the Budweiser wagon and stuff. I've never seen anybody riding a Clydesdale, though. Have you? No, in the parades. Don't they ride the Clydesdale in the parades?
The biggest problem with the Clydesdale is how the hell do you get up on them? You need a ladder.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're huge.
Well, you owe me for not making a short joke with you getting on a pony, but
I think yes, and I will be rooting for the Niners. I will, because I was a big Jerry Rice fan back in the day. So
Jerry,
yeah.
Boy, yeah.
But really, I mean, my team's not in it, so I'm watching it for the bingo.
All right, chicken wing, is that it? You're just gonna 50
Probably,
chicken wings and a
probably,
light
yeah,
beer.
probably chicken wings. Yeah, that's probably about it. I mean, we haven't really talked about it yet. And are you guys not doing a Super Bowl shave?
Super Bowl. What would a Super Bowl shave be?
Well, I think it would be color coordinated to the
Oh,
teams, which is easy this year because it's either red and gold or red and yellow, I think. Whatever the Kansas City Chiefs are, red and white.
I guess if you just do red, you're supporting both teams.
Yeah.
Whatever. Well, P-Beat, Google that shit and let us know what happened to Refrigerator. I think he was big, but he was too slow, so he became ineffective to those big muscle-bound front linemen, right?
Yeah, maybe.
My wife found this, what was it called? Super Bowl crack. And it's some kind of almost like you're making what do you
Chex
call it?
Mix?
Like
Chex Mix?
no, like almond bark or whatever. You do and then you crack it up. But this is cheese and crushed up chips and dried ranch mix or something like that. Somehow
Mm-hmm.
you melt it all together and then and it gets hard and then you crack it up.
Ooh.
Sounds really good to me. Anything ranch flavored, you got to throw ranch into stuff and.
Yeah, I mean, one of the best treats is crinkle cut fries covered in ranch dressing, covered in bacon bits.
The crinkle cut fries are tough to find crunchy though.
Yes.
I don't like you hold it up and it does like, bloop, like this. I don't want my fries like that.
And then there's Frito pie. There's always Frito pie. Usually if we're going to watch, because the Super Bowl's on early this year, isn't it? It starts at 4, or is that normally when it starts? I know the pregame show starts like tomorrow, but did you see, by the way, did you see what the Super Bowl tickets are going for right now?
I heard they dropped though.
Oh, they're not $10,000.
No, Vegas is creating this problem. Same happened with F1, where the tickets were uber expensive, and they didn't sell them all. And so when it got close, they dropped them. But by that time, to plan a trip to Vegas and a hotel room and all that stuff.
Well, they were saying that some of the hotel rooms were $10,000 a night.
Yeah,
that's just stupid. I
mean,
Rotel and Velveeta. Yep, actually. That's something we do. It's not nachos, but it's kind of a cheese queso dip. But one thing I like to do that she does not is you take the Rotel, the Velveeta, and you take chorizo and mix that in.
Rotel is that round, soft, herby cheese thing, right?
No, it's a can of tomatoes, jalapenos, bell peppers, all in one can.
Oh, yeah. Well, so back to memories of childhood. My parents did a chip dip that was Velveeta based, and I think they'd put in Velveeta and then put in like diced tomatoes and I don't know what else, and then you just scoop that hot dip up with a chip. That was good.
And then for her, we'll probably have some type of kind of a we thought about doing like a little charcuterie type tray, but the thing is when you're watching football, you want to have finger foods. Nachos.
We always got to do the veggie, the big veggie bowl. All right. So we'll do that Super Bowl crack stuff. And then like, what you go to Trader Joe's and you get the frozen whatevers to throw in there. That's the problem is we think, well, this game will be going for 3.5 hours, including the halftime show and stuff. So you get all the, food. You're thinking, well, we're going to eat for 3.5 hours. You put it all out and you eat till you're full. And then you're like, well, we still got 2 hours of game to go and all this food.
Yeah. Did you get that? What it's called, Super Bowl crack? You said.
Mm-hmm. Did
you find that on the internet?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll have to look.
It was a video. I tell you, the kids these days, Dave, they don't look up recipes. They see some video of somebody making something, and then
what's this? There is cheese potatoes thing. That sounds good. Like oh God, the potato skins. Is that what you're talking about?
Kind of like that. Again, it's some video that one of the kids watched, and I think you dice up small potatoes and then cover them with cheese or something like that. And
Actually, I have not told her this yet, but what we may do is get servapi. Now, what servapi is these Bosnian. We have a Bosnian restaurant that I think I talked about, and they're these beef sausages, little tiny sausages that are seasoned in a, because Bosnian food is really interesting because it's got a mixture of Greek, a mixture of Persian, a mixture of Middle Eastern, all in one. And so these servapi sausages are absolutely to die for. So maybe I'll do that rather
you
than
just eat them straight, or you throw them in the barbecue.
Well, you can you eat them straight, or you can have them with tzatziki, and you can have them with naan. You can have them with naan, and they're amazing.
Interesting. Yeah, chili con queso. Any dip, anything that you need a tortilla chip to get it to your face is
okay. Here's a very important question, and we'll tell a lot about French onion dip or green onion dip.
Now, see, we don't have green onion dip out here.
What?
No.
Oh yeah, you get check your grocery store, because it's basically, how remember how you used to get the ranch dressing packets that had
packets?
the
packets.
Yeah, and you get a pint of sour cream and the green onion dip mix. Oh, it's to die for. It's so good. So we'll probably
the choice
do that.
Here is always the French onion or ranch dip.
Yeah, but this one you make.
Right. But the rule is you have a ranch dip for chips, and the French onion. Wait, backwards.
No,
French onion dip for chips and ranch dip for the veggies.
Right. And see, I will eat tortilla chips in any dip. My wife, they have to be the crinkle cut Lay's potato chips for the onion dip.
Oh,
it has to be
because that will carry a lot more dip.
No, there's just the flavor structure of the flavor structure of that. But my wife also will take an ice cold glass of milk and eat potato chips with it. And at first, I thought that was odd, but then I tried it, and it's delicious. But then again, I eat bread and butter, pickles, and peanut butter.
Cucumber dip sounds delicious. Is that like tzatziki? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm thinking of, with a lot of cucumbers in it. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. What about kettle chips, though? Those are nice and crunchy.
See, I love salt and vinegar. She can't.
Yeah.
So I love salt and vinegar chips.
That's powerful.
So yeah, we'll just do finger foods. I do like that. The thing I like about the kettle chips is they've got that crunch. There's just something about that crunch that's really good.
And that's the whole problem with carbs and all this stuff, is that I like that crunch. And other than like, what can you do? You can do carrots, but they're not the lowest carb veggie that'll get you but if you just want that, it's just satisfying, right, to eat something with that crunch. Well, it's tough to get that with non-carb stuff.
Yeah, but you know what? On Super Bowl Sunday, that'll be the day that it's like, rip the monitor off and say, no.
You mentioned that a lot, though.
No, I've been actually very, very. Oh, wait a minute, Mister, who came home with the Crave cookies, or the box of diabetic death cookies. I mean, and you know what's funny? I drive by that almost every other day, and I
crumble cookies.
Crumble, yeah.
Have you never gotten one?
Yeah, no, we have.
Okay, they're right. Depending on the flavor, they can be very amazing. Yes.
What beer? I will probably be drinking, probably Modelo, the carb conscious beer, 2 carbs, basically yellow water.
Boy, that sounds great.
Yeah, it's delicious.
I was thinking of you because you were a Dalmore guy for a long time.
Still am.
With Scotch. Total Wine had Dalmore, what is it there? King Alexander for $2.50, which I thought seemed like a pretty good price for that stuff.
Well, the cigar malt's my favorite, you know that. And it used to be $1.30 a bottle. Then it went to $1.60. Then it went to $1.90, and now it's
whoa.
Yeah. So I've got about 3/4. I've got about 3/4 of a bottle that I take a small little dram out of. Stuff like that. So real quick before we end the show, I think we've gotten pretty much what everybody's going to be eating for the. Now, oh, speaking of chicken wings, so do you get the? I know you're not a huge spice guy, so do you just get the? And do you prefer your chicken wings wet or dry?
I'll do both. And I'll tell you though that the kids these days don't like the bones.
See,
You
I
always
can't.
have to get the boneless.
Boneless chicken wing is a nugget.
And I've made the mistake sometimes of not looking carefully enough and actually getting some with bones, and then you wouldn't. They're like, "What the hell is this?" They're
Yeah, but
such
see,
a pain to eat.
you know what? You need to surprise them. Get some chicken wings, not the drummies, because you've got the drummies and you've got the wings. Okay, the drummies are just basically little tiny chicken legs. You get the chicken wings, the long ones, and you crisp them up right, and you will impress your kids. Take the wing, cooked, twist it, just twist it until you hear it crack, and then pull the bone out, and you've got one huge solid chunk of chicken.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with them. I'm just saying that
The kids like them.
So here when we get quote wings, which are basically chicken strips with flavoring on them, we get them from a place where you get like 40 of them and 10 in different flavors. So we always get the hot for the kids.
Is that like Buffalo Wild Wings?
Kind of like that, but even more flavors. There's a place here that has like 20 different flavors or something, and you get like Peking spice. It's got like green onions on it and stuff like that, or like a Indian peanut spicy sauce and all this stuff. So we'll
also do taquitos, rolled fried taquitos with guacamole, and then we'll do mini tacos. Those are my kryptonite.
Yeah. Ooh, honey garlic would be good.
There's a lemon parmesan that's really good.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem is with the chicken wings that you get at the stores, you got to get up there early. Because like a lot of times I'll be closing the shop around 6 o'clock, and I'll stop by the local deli, and of course the deli closes at 8, but they still have the chicken wings that they made basically at 7:30 in the morning. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah, we have a wing stop. Well, I think we solved. I think this advice. In fact, put in the comments. After the video posts. Do you think that Dave and I should start? Once a month we have an advice only show.
Well, see, this is the problem though, is that we'll say that and then they don't send us any questions. And then we end up talking about food.
Well, maybe what we need to do is we need to put the advertisement for the upcoming show on a week early. And then that way they have a week to not give us anything.
We have a returning guest. When's he coming? In 2 weeks?
He is going to be on the 20th. We have a returning guest. I'm not going to tell you who it is till next week. But we're very excited about it because we're going to talk about stuff that you probably wouldn't hear him normally talk about on his and he's got a YouTube channel that's got like 200.
Yeah. And speaking of returning guests, when we get into baseball season, we're gonna have Chad the referee back because last time he talked mostly about football, but he also refs baseball.
Does he?
Right. Oh, basketball. Basketball's the one. The basketball.
Well, actually, we probably should consider having him on sometime in the March area. For March Madness and stuff like that. And I cannot imagine what people, because the NIT tournament's in Vegas again, and then you get the Super Bowl, then you got Formula One, and we're going to be there. So if you're anywhere near the Vegas area in the early part of April, you're going to have to join us. We're going to try to do a show there. And then also, kind of a hint, in mid to late August, we may be doing a live show where my buddy Dave and I are in the same place.
Well, and you mentioned we're going to be in Vegas. What is it? It's the very tail end of March, right?
Oh no, 4th, 5th
of April.
5th of April. Mm-hmm.
The plan is to do a live Drinks and Days from Vegas, right?
Well, that's what our plan is. That's our hope.
Yeah.
We'd like to do it in their cigar bar, but if we can't, we'll do it in our hospitality suite.
We'll do it from bed. We'll be in bed. We'll talk about it.
No, because I don't want to get rich. I don't want to get rich jealous.
Well, no, that would be fun. We could invite anybody into the bed to have a chat with us. We'll talk about it. All right, Dave.
All right. Well, hey, thank you everybody for. Wow, I'm usually not without words, but that did it for me tonight. Well, I hope everybody has a wonderful day. Don't forget to join us next week, and also mark your calendars for right around March 10th. It'll still be at 6 p.m., but Dave and I have to work out the logistics because his time changes and mine doesn't. So, anyhow, everybody, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful evening and a wonderful week. I hope you guys have a great week and join us again next week. And Dave, have a great day. See you later. Say good night, Dave.
Night, Dave.